Hi there, this is David Lee for the James Bond dossier, and in this video I just wanted to take a look at the books that you can see in James Bond's Jamaican house in No Time to Die. Obviously it's January 2020 and we're still waiting for the film to come out. It's been delayed a few times because of the coronavirus pandemic, and so, well, instead of discussing the film, we can just dive in deep and see what we can pull out from what's been made available to us so far. And in the trailer release back at the beginning of December 2019, and doesn't that seem such a long time ago now, we get a glimpse of Bond's house in Jamaica. It's like 29 seconds in, we see him looking out to sea from a small terrace at the front of his house. And while it isn't an exact match for GoldenEye, it certainly seems to be inspired by Ian Fleming's house, which is hardly surprising though, I suppose. It is interesting to see Bond's home again. We got a glimpse of it in Spectre, and we see how he lives post-retirement from active service. At the 39-second mark, Lashana Lynch's character, Nomi, is in his house sitting on the edge of his bed. On the counter beside Bond is a chess set, a flashlight, and what looks to me like it's a monocular. Not 100% sure about that though. There's also a pile of books. Now, Ian Fleming mentions a number of books in Bond's library, but these are mainly on golf and cards. He's certainly expanded on what he reads since those days, judging by this list. And in fact, I'd say he's been pretty active on eBay, Abe Books, and Amazon. First on the list is Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is by Robert M. Persig. I haven't been able to identify which edition this one is, but I do have a copy of a different edition. The book's subtitled An Inquiry into Values, and basically it's a fictionalized account of a motorbike trip taken by the author with his son, and it's the biggest selling book on philosophy ever. It's definitely worthwhile reading, and it's very accessible, so don't let the fact that it's a philosophy book put you off. Next up is what looks like a pamphlet of some kind, but it's unclear. I don't suppose we'll ever find out what it is. And then after that is the complete book of sea fishing. It's not possible to read the name of the authors, but it does look like there are two names there. I'm going to guess that it's a book by Alan Yates and Ted Entwistle, because those two names kind of fit the space that is there, and you can see an and separating them. But once again, I can't identify the edition. The book below that I can't identify, and I'm not sure if it's lettering in some kind of ornamental font or a pattern on the spine of the book or Oriental script. I don't know if we'll ever find out what that is, but if you've got any ideas, let me know. Then below that one is a book called Welcome Aboard, and it's by Barbara Huff, and it was a 1987 kids book apparently, subtitled Travelling on an Ocean Liner. It's pretty difficult to obtain. There's not much information on it online, but from what I can gather, it's about what it's like to be a passenger aboard the QE2 as it makes the transatlantic crossing from New York to the UK. Quite what Bond is doing with a kids book, I'm not quite sure, but you can make your own mind up as to that. Right, so we're now third book from bottom, which is Your Spaceflight Manual by David Ashford and Patrick Collins, which was published by Crescent in 1991. It's subtitled How You Could Be a Tourist in Space Within 20 Years, but since it was published in 1991, that clearly didn't happen. Basically, it speculates on the future of space tourism, is the impression that I get. Under that is a book that, once again, I can't identify, but one of the words in the title looks to me like it's quick. Not very much to go on there. So Any ideas? Again, let me know. At the bottom of the pile, although upside down, so it was a bit difficult to identify initially, is a book called Farming the Edge of the Sea, which is by Edwin S. Iverson. It was published in 1968 by the Fisherman's Library. It is, apparently, I haven't read it and I don't actually intend to, an introduction to sea farming, including fish, invertebrates, and plants. Sounds thrilling. But that's not all. In a recent publicity still, there are still more books. Bond is standing next to a table with an open drawer from which he's perhaps taken a gun, a Browning high power by the look of it in his hand, and there appears to be a passport in the drawer, although I don't think it's British, but then maybe it's not a passport, maybe it's something else. On the table are a bowl, a lamp, a camera, and a number of bottles. These include a bottle of Blackwell rum and a martini glass, which looks like it has rum in. Also is another pile of 3 books. These are Time's Arrow by Martin Amis. He's the son of Kingsley Amis, who wrote Colonel's Son, and he's one of my favourite authors, although I really think he's struggled to maintain the brilliance of his earlier books. Probably his best is the satirical novel Money. Time's Arrow is a really weird one which describes the events of the Holocaust in reverse, and so time is actually going backward. It's a long way from his best writing, experimental, and for me it wasn't very rewarding to read, so I wouldn't particularly recommend it. My copy is the Jonathan Cape first edition from '91, but this is the US first edition, which was published by Harmony, I think. The middle book is called A Brilliant Darkness by, and I don't quite know how to pronounce this name, it's Portuguese, João Magejo, probably, João Magejo. First published in 2008 by Basic Books. It's subtitled The Extraordinary Life and Mysterious Disappearance of Ettore Majorana, the troubled genius of the nuclear age. The Italian physicist disappeared in 1938, and while there are several theories as to his disappearance, no one actually knows what happened to him. So that's that one. And the final, the book in this pile, the bottom book, is Post-War, A History of Europe Since 1945 by Tony Judd. It was published in 2005 by Penguin and actually was a finalist for the 2006 Pulitzer Prize, but it lost out to another book. Okay, so those are James Bond's books that we can see at his home in No Time to Die. There are a few books that I haven't been able to identify, and additions too. If you've got any information on what's missing, or if you think I'm wrong about anything, then please get in touch. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.